I got Bill Haney in here, Fred. Thank you so much.
Oh, I was just talking about
I know, man. Crazy.
And you say his name 3 times.
He popped up like candy, man.
3 times.
Hey, I love you, Bill. Good luck. And I don't know if you were listening to the show, man, but I'm intentionally hard on y'all because I love y'all. And
hold on, Fred. Hold on,
hold on, Fred.
He's putting the headphones on. So
I'm all in on the Haney this week. I'm all in.
Now he can hear you because now he got the headphones. So
I said I don't know if you heard me before the show, man. I was like, I'm hard on Devin because he reminds me of me. Cornball character, but great integrity. I'm talking about to the outside world, and I don't want him to compromise that he got to be a thug to be successful. He can be an upstanding human being and get the millions to the green print, as you call it, and serve his community, you know? And I'm all in this weekend. I'll be watching. That'll be the first fight I'll be watching in my mansion, Mr. Haney.
Absolutely.
And I'll be on. And thank you. I'll be at my pool watching the fight, moving in. I'll have workers installing and reinstalling and doing that stuff. But I'm gonna be at the pool watching the fight, man. And I'm gonna pretend I'm smoking a cigar. And I just pray y'all get it done. I have you guys as a split decision win because it's in Australia. It will be a unanimous decision if it was in Vegas. And I genuinely love y'all. Like I'm just who I am is who I am. But I really I swear before God, as God is my witness, I want y'all to win, come back, serve your community, go beat his butt again, come back, and I hope Bob Arum don't play no shenanigans with the third fight. And if he plays shenanigans with the third fight, you know Fred Hawthorne gonna call his ass out, you know. And good luck, and hopefully you beat undisputed champion, what you've always wanted, man, this Saturday.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely. Inshallah.
Inshallah,
you know I mean?
right?
Yeah,
Inshallah,
yes, sir.
Man.
God willing, and you know, congratulations to you and your many achievements. What I want to do, and I want to make sure that I do, coming from the place that I done came from, is the word cornball. It's not cool. The cornballs that call individuals that are very focused and driven on whatever that drives them, wherever their passionate lies, should never be called a cornball. Right. Those are driven individuals. Right. You've showed the drive and the resiliency to continue to do what you've been doing, to have the platform that you have. So, you know what I mean. I want to take that word cornball. Let's tear that joint up and throw that away, because some of the slickest guys around the world, you know what I mean, over the time have called guys cornballs, and turned out they were the cornballs. So
right,
you know what I mean. But man, shout out to you to you as well. But shout out to the Boxing Voice for always opening the door. You know what I mean, for me to come in here at the time that it's time to come in. You know, we are involved in a wonderful promotion in the undisputed fight of the lightweight division that hasn't happened. And Danny, you the encyclopedia. When is the last time a fight of this magnitude in the lightweight division has happened?
Man, probably Sugar Ray Leonard. Probably the Leonard days. You know, it's been a while. You know, it's been a while, and with all the belts on the line, this is what we've wanted, BH. This is what we've wanted. I was I was denied. They denied me entry.
Wow.
They denied me entry over an arrest I had a couple years ago, and you know, I pled not guilty. I beat it, and I was in the military, remained in the military, did my time, gave them 2 tours, got out honorably, and the Australian government still, they told me I can try again under a work visa for the rematch.
Well, what I did, I applied because obviously we're working on. I did as much as I could and been as much as I could to the promotion of the actual event, and it's similar to what you're saying, is that you're denied but not denied, that you can apply under a different type of visa.
Under a different type of visa,
but which the time. From a time
doesn't
allow. Well, I'm in the same boat, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I only can assume that now I'm appealing what their decision was to ask for me for more information, and hopefully that it'll happen. But nevertheless, let's not get away from the fact that this is a fight of this magnitude. This is a fight of the world championship for every world belt in boxing. So let's not minimize it, using the word that Fred so eloquently put. Let's not minimize it down to a bringing the belt home or taking the belt from Australia. You really, the winner of this fight represents the lightweight division, represents all the hardware, the king of the lightweight division. Now, when you talk about, that's me?
You got like 5 phones, Bill.
You know what? I'm looking for a word any day.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm looking for a word any day now in terms of me getting over there. But like I said, this fight is for everything. You know what I mean? It's for all the hardware, and we do not want to minimize it by any stretch. You know, I know George has been saying a lot of things in the media. A lot of things, a lot of unnecessary things, a lot of things that aren't true. You know, and to sell a fight that he said that he had sold. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't need. He said you could have the trash man. So what would you bring up things that don't make any sense? For one, T.O. and Devin have been rivals before they ever had belts, before George Kambosos' name was ever brought up. People would want to see the fight with Devin and T.O. probably right now. As much as they wanted to see it then, they'd want to see it now. George Kambosos has come onto the scene, and he said all the things that are not fight related on what he can actually do to Devin. That's the top secret. But everything else that you're saying and he's saying is rhetoric. This is the Super Bowl of the lightweight division.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it should get that just. It should be given that luster. Devin, you have a champion in Devin who has conceded to all of the demands that George Kambosos and his team has put there. Absolutely. You know, so when you talk about that, you have 2 fighters that deserve the recognition that they're getting for making an event of this magnitude happen. I think George, being his first rodeo at this, is being, he's not being the professional and being the host that he should be, having an event in the place that he's having it at.
No.
His own home.
So you think he should be politically more correct?
Well, saying that
more welcoming?
Well, no, because when you DM Devin or you're talking to Devin, then you're talking to someone that, for intent purposes, that you know that can make it happen. That's a promoter. Devin is the youngest promoter in the game. So when Kambosos is DMing Devin is saying, well, I haven't had any luck making the Teofimo fight. So you're saying all the right shit. Because the public don't know you before you beat Teofimo, but you're talking to Dev in the DMs about making the fight when you beat him.
Right.
So when you see the elation, the energy,
the excitement you guys had in the video.
Oh, it was a real moment because you had George Kambosos, who had already been DMing Dev and saying, if I win, I'm gonna fight you, right?
Absolutely.
So then we were so surprised when he came to the fight and they announced that he would be going on tour to pick someone. And we said, okay, where did this come from, right? You first talked to Dev and you guys DM'd each other and you said that if you won, and Devin won against JoJo, so going into that fight, he said that Devin needed to look impressive with JoJo. Then he said that Devin needed to concede to all of Manny Pacquiao's demands when Manny Pacquiao Vasyl Lomachenko.
Mm-hmm. When he was at war.
Both fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he he said that we needed to do everything that Vasyl Lomachenko would do. Well, we've never seen anything that Vasyl Lomachenko did or what he's committed to. So all that was false. But going into it, Devin said, Pop, do everything that you can to make this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold back nothing. They sent it to us and told us within 48 hours, right? I called 24 hours into the 48-hour time and say, is there any play in any of this? Are you serious? This is what it is? I called Devin, sent him over the shit and talked to him. He said, Pops, do what everything it is to make that fight happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did, right? So George Kambosos came with another ploy or another tactic to get under a skin of a fighter and promoter that actually made the fight happen. He's trying to get up under his skin. Devin is the one that made it happen. He's saying he picked.
Excuse me.
Saying he picked. Wait a minute. He's saying he picked. Where else was you gonna get? He says he could take a trash can man and do all this shit.
Right. We
don't believe that.
No, I mean
we don't fight trash can guys. You know what I'm saying? Devin is a world champion.
Absolutely.
He's a world champion. So we take George Kambosos serious. We've never said what he wasn't. We said that as a fighter, he's one-dimensional, straight up and down, and he will get exposed on June 4th. Provided that Devin and George is in the ring. This is our 28th fight. And then not one time did I ever go into the fight and say, the only way you beat this guy is if Bill Haney is there. I never looked at 27 of those guys like that. And George Kambosos being the 28th guy, I didn't never look at him like that either. This is a historic moment that I would love to share with Dev, whether I share it with him in the ring in Australia on June 4th, or whether I'm at home and watching. That's something, the work that we put in for the last 15 years has been to date, leading up to June 4th.
Obviously, full confidence, everything you have done. Devin knows everything at this point. There's nothing that you feel you could have brought extra that would help them. You feel Devin fully prepared, obviously training his whole life with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a fight that we put together. We as teams. You have the Kambosos team, Jim and George. You got me and Dev, right? We've also extended ours to Lou DiBella. And Ness remembers the early on days with Peter Kahn as well in this whole thing. So it has been a collective of individuals that have come together to make this thing happen. And I don't want that to be overshadowed by anything that George is saying unprofessional.
So I take it his comments yesterday got under or at least frustrated you?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is fight week. You know what I mean? And it's time to talk about the fight. What a wonderful performance Gervonta Davis put on Saturday night against Rolly Romero. I told him, I predicted it would be by murder, and it was a point in time you thought Rolly was dead. And I say that jokingly and playfully, but shout out to the Romero family and his dad, who's of Cuban descent. Good dude, really good, nice man who you got a glimpse to see him walking out with his son. It's something that we do as parents, as fathers and as mothers, is we're with our kids, our sons and our daughters forever. Win, lose, draw, or whatever, we with them. We riding with them. And you got a chance to see him. He speaks
A little bit.
Little bit English.
Little bit.
Very little, right? But what he does and what he has always said to me has always resonated and been profound, in his struggle to get over here and to provide a lifestyle for Rolly Romero. The struggle that Jim has went through to provide a lifestyle for George, me as well. And it'll go down through the generations. That's what legacy is. You know what I mean? And I think that like I said, the stuff that George is attempting to do it's not working. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. First he said it was gonna be the long trip over, right? Then he said that the time difference, right? He said that the Australian crowd. He said a bunch of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And all the excuses that he said that we don't make excuses. All the excuses he's the one that made up. He's the one that put out there as if it was some kind of ghost.
What ghost?
It was some kind of ghost, something to be afraid of.
Oh.
Something to be afraid of. He put it out as if it was something to be afraid of. And what we've experienced is, from what Devin is telling me, we've experienced love in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, we've experienced nothing but good. Energy, from what Devin is describing.
And obviously Devin's not out there alone. Obviously, Yoel Judah's out there, Little's out there, Sean's out there.
Absolutely.
Serafina, there's a team coach, Daryl. It seems like the entire team's out there. Obviously, with the exception of UBH. So, from everything that you've seen and from the conversations you've had, how is that experience, for the entire team out there, and how has it been thus far in Australia?
Well, let's not leave out Yoel Judah.
Yeah,
Yoel Judah, Big Rodney. You know what I mean? It's our team is there now. You know what I'm saying? And we're gaining more and more people and more fans and more support in Australia every day. As you can see, you see the comments and stuff like that. Tons of people saying that they don't support what George brings to the ring, how he's conducting himself outside the ring, and ultimately being a world champion is going around the world, Danny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's being, complete dominant, being a fighter that's dominant as a world champion. So we want to represent not only Oakland, not only California, not only Las Vegas, the West Coast, the United States, North America. We want to represent the world.
Absolutely.
And Devin being one of the best fighters to ever put on a pair of gloves. That's what we hear all about.
Absolutely.
So is it true the first day that he landed, he went for a run?
Not only did he go for a run for 5 miles, he went for a run for 5 miles, then went to the gym and did floor exercises. And you guys know what his floor exercises is. It ain't no, you know what I mean? He's not about going in no gym and just playing around.
Right.
Absolutely. Do you think that helped with the acclimation? Because it's like you had this long flight. Your body's already tired. Get in the workout so that when you get home and shower, you go right to bed?
No, I just think it was about him testing to see what's in the tank. It's been a lot of talk, so you dispel it, right? And then me, per se, I got a chance to hear it from the horse's mouth. He said, smooth, Dad. Smooth. You see what I'm saying?
So did you ask like weather and I don't know, I guess the climate, like everything is normal for him?
Hey, bro, listen. And I'm saying this, I'm a dad, you know what I mean? And I keep it real for all the dads and mothers around the world, it's more intense than sending your kid away to go to college. You know what I mean? That's a little bit more intense than that, but it's not as intense. It's not as serious as when you send your kid away to go to war.
Even though he's literally going to war.
No, he's going to perform and do something that he loves and that he's passionate about and he's been doing for 15 years. And we don't need to confuse this with anything else, but being an opportunity for, if George has worked truly as hard as he say he has, is he's ready to perform in front of 50,000 people, perform for the Australian pay-per-view, perform for the ESPN network, who has been doing a great job at promoting the fight as well. So it's a performance for two guys that are talented, and we get a chance to see who has what in the toolbox. And we know that Devin has an array of things, and we look forward to showcasing it on June 4th.
So what is Top Rank setting up for you? Because there's been a lot of rumors of you having an iPad, of you guys doing FaceTime. You know, I recommended WhatsApp. I feel like that's the best video chatting.
Well, for
quality.
That's one thing that I would say with Jim and George that one of the things, and just publicly since is they're protesting that I not be able to talk with the headset during the promotion.
What? They don't want you to do that?
Yeah, they don't want to do it. You got Lou, who's in agreement with it. You got Top Rank, of course, DHP, and us, we're in agreement with it, right? And they say all these things publicly that he's doing to help me get there, right? Well, the alternative to me being there is to be able to be a part of something that's cutting edge, something that's something that can truly take the sport forward
to the next
level in a way that a coach can't be there, but is actually there. And we have the technology now to make these things happen. And we're getting the resistance from the Kambosos team with this particular matter, which I find it to be strange, because I offered during the negotiation of once we knew that Devin wasn't on the plane and it was a possibility that I wouldn't be there. So I negotiated from the standpoint of, I said, well, how about the coach do the same thing that I do? Whatever it is that I do, he does the same thing. And let's just push this thing forward. Let's let a cut man and an assistant
run the fight,
and then we watch it, and we do the headsets, right? Let's
be fair.
Yeah, let's be fair. Let's have a level playing field. George Kambosos said that's not his problem. The team they sent a comment back to us. That's not their problem. They've worked. They're going to be there in their corner. I said, okay, cool. Do you guys object to me having a headset? And they said it wouldn't be a problem. Now, as we go into the fight, you have George's team saying that might be a problem. So me not being there, and I still, like I said, me and Devin talked. Me and Devin talked, and Daz said, Pop, I got him. I said, okay. He says, if you can't make it, I'll meet you back at the house. I'm bringing them belts. And I said, all right. Looked him, you know what I'm saying? And I looked him in his face. He's looking at me in the face just like this, Daddy. And that was it. Gave him a hug, and then he was gone.
Actually, speaking of that hug, how'd you feel? It felt like that picture of you guys sharing that moment before you send your son to Australia went boxing viral. Did you notice, or was it just, that's part of your life and that's that?
Well, I mean, you see, like I said, it's a picture, of course I don't have on no jewels, my hair is not together, you know what I mean? It's a whirlwind of emotions and energy in that hug, and us, us separating, him leaving and me being here, and like I said, I don't minimize me wanting to be there or him wanting me to be there, but like Devin says, the show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
How good does it make you feel knowing that if you can't be there. At a very minimum, having his two brothers there, and Little and Sean, and obviously the involvement that they've had, because yesterday at the press conference, Little comes out holding the belt. The other day at the meet and greet, we see Sean interacting and shooting with the fans and whatnot. So having his brothers there, obviously you're not there, but having his brothers there, has that gave you any sort of comfort? Because, he has the closest thing to you there in his brothers.
His family, his real family.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The way that they bond together and the way that they have each other's back, the experience for, in Australia for my son, Sean, who's 12, and he's telling me, Dad, when I come to the Australia Open, you're going to come, I'm going to bring you. Okay. So, and then of course, Little, I'm here with, my grandbaby, which is Lil Bill's son,
right? The third.
What I'm saying? So the third, and my daughter, here. So I'm getting a chance to spend time with them, of course, and work from home. When the pandemic thing happened, I think a lot of us learned to how to work from home, and then having the boxing voice. You know what I mean? That's just minutes away.
For sure.
Helps the game tremendously. But to answer your question in terms of his brothers, I mean, it's just to see them go through, going through the experiencing, all the behind the scenes stuff and all that means more to me than anything in the world. And as long as Devin would go along with it, I would give up my seat to Sean and Lil Bill any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what this thing is about, and they're doing a great job. I can't speak, you know what I mean, so happily about what they're doing in Australia right now.
So, can you tell us, have you given any instruction for these last 2 weeks, and is he looking for sparring? Because we just had an Australian by the name of Victor Nagbe who's actually going back, lands Wednesday, and will be sparring Thursday, working with the Maloneys, which makes no sense because they're fighting Saturday. So
Sunday out there.
Yeah, Sunday out there. So I just wanted to ask, is Devin still sparring?
Well, no, the climb, when you're climbing to the top, sometimes the actual sparring work that you get sometimes is actually better than the fight that you're actually in. You know what I mean? Just depends on where you're at in your career. Shout out to the Maloney brothers. Keep working, keep getting your name out there. They're two nice young men. I think are they twins or?
Yeah,
yes.
I think they're twins.
Yes. Oh, they're twins.
We had them both on.
Yeah. They're nice young men, man. You know what I mean? They've extended an invitation to sparring partners, gyms, and all the stuff. You know what I mean? So like I said, we've received a warm reception from the Australian people. It hasn't been any static or anything that what George is perceiving the thing to be, as if he's with the trench coat, mafia, and he has a bunch of people and they're just ready to, jump on Dev. The experience in Australia has been great. I mean, you see him on Instagram, you see him working out.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've had, a line. The line is around the corner with guys in Australia that want to have the opportunity to get in the ring with Devin and work. You know what I mean? So we've received good energy.
Well, we saw.
Can I ask a little follow up? I heard Devin say he's thankful to the Ellises.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask. Team Ellis Boxing.
I wanted to ask, who is that?
Well, it's a boxing gym. Shout out to Team Ellis Boxing Gym. And like any boxing gym, I would assume in Australia, like here in Vegas, you have a wealth of talent of fighters, managers, promoters, and everything that make that their house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to just give a shout out to them who's opened the door for Devin to come in there and go to work and have the energy that he's had. They've been nothing but professionals and opened it up like it's home.
Just from what I've been able to see from Team Ellis and some of the people over at the gym on social media, very receptive. Not just them, but the kids in the gym when they see Devin and everything like that. knowing that Devin is receiving that reception on a worldwide level at such a young age before a big fight, you know, how does that make you feel? Because, you know, at only 23 years old, to go to their backyard and still receive that same love that he would here in the U.S. must be special, right? You did something right with Devin.
Well, love is universal, brother. It doesn't have no color. It don't got no, you know, no face, no name, no none of that. You know what I mean? To receive love over there from people that, you know, from people that are on the other side and typically are supposed to be at odds with each other because of whatever differences.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And being boxing brings us together. Boxing brings us together as people, black, brown, and alike. Boxing has always done that. You know what I mean?
No question.
And for Devin to represent being a world champion and taking a high road, right? It sets the stage for other younger guys like my son and other guys to look at it the right way, man. The way that it's supposed to be looked at. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this stuff about, you know, my country, my country, my country. Hey, are you your country's champ or are you a world champ? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what we represent. And that's what going to Australia and fighting on a network such as ESPN meant for us is now we're ready for the global stage and not just none of that other stuff.
So, Bill, you never answered the is Devin sparring in Australia question.
Oh, he's been sparring. He's been sparring.
Because I just found some pictures on Ellis of 3 different sparring partners.
No. That's what I said is the line has been around the corner. If I made a mistake, Ness.
You know, Ness be having memory loss.
No.
He turned 45 tomorrow.
Oh, good. I got, you know, we gotta blow, we gotta blow some cake.
For sure. Some birthday cake for sure.
Hey,
Yo, I love BH.
But yeah, you know, when I say, let me say it again. Shout out to Team Ellis and their whole boxing gym. The line has been around the corner with guys that have been ready to get in and experience, have the experience of sparring with Dev and being very competitive, but also wanting to help Dev as well. You know what I mean? And that's why I said is I can't speak enough for what the energy has been in Australia, and it's been everything that we've imagined being a world champion meant. And I think the stuff that George is describing is good that I get a chance to come on and reiterate a different energy of what Devin has. You know, he has a couple minutes and he's talking, he's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, it's only a few minutes and we're supposed to be talking about the fight and you're supposed to be saying, you know, what way you feel that you have an advantage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
Kick some boxing talk, right? And you start talking about some other shit, right? And that's something that you're saying is getting up under Devin's skin. Well, what would you need to get under his skin for?
If you're better.
If you're better. You said you do everything better. So what do you need to get under his skin? And
I think that's just part of his game plan. And he did the same to Tio, or at least attempted to get under Tio's skin and say certain things to ruffle his feathers. I believe he wants to get under Devin's skin. But I do want to talk about that. I'm trying to bring that.
Can I just say this? The difference is that Tio was running from Devin, and we knew that Tio was in the squeeze. He had to either pick George Kambosos or he had to pick Devin. We knew that, right? Mm-hmm. He said that George Kambosos was his mandatory when you could have opted out to do what we're doing, is the undisputed title of the world. So you could have easily, Teofimo and his team and his fans and everyone, they could have easily chose to go with Devin Haney instead of going with George Kambosos. So what became surprisingly, though, is that George Kambosos then said that he was looking to maybe go with Vasyl Lomachenko and it not be for this undisputed, for what it is. You know?
So that whole we chose you, we gave you this opportunity, lines that George has been throwing out that you calling total bullshit on. And
well, not total bullshit, because I want to say it's bullshit, right? But it's bullshit in the sense of you didn't choose us, but you did give us an opportunity, right? I don't know, we brought ESPN to the table because we went and negotiated a deal with Devin, with Bob Arum and Top Rank and ESPN to bring that side to the table. If you don't have that, then you don't have anything.
And then like Devin said yesterday, the Victorian government was only putting up the money for Devin.
A big fight.
And Vasil.
Yeah, a big fight. To insult the Victorian government and insult Australia, people and the fans, to say that you could just fight a garbage can man. You can fight anyone, right? And they're going to pay for it. Is insulting.
Not just that, I felt that he really insulted Teofimo and his team because Teofimo represented the Honduran people. He represented his Honduran people. So for you to totally disregard that and pretend that it was in fact the American people when bringing up those comments that he made yesterday was just.
Well, I want to talk about that because he kind of was hypocritical, and Devin posted. I don't know if you noticed. Let me get a screen share here. So this is Devin's story, and he put, rising Aussie boxer George Kambosos Jr. has invited Jeff Horn to sort out their differences in the ring if he has a problem with him serving as Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner. Horn said earlier this month he was disappointed the 24-year-old didn't get in contact before accepting an invitation to the Filipinos' great training team ahead of Sunday's battle. So essentially what's happening here is Devin Haney is showing that the pot is calling the kettle black by obviously Australian George, instead of training with Australian Jeff Horn for Jeff Horn's biggest fight of his countryman's career.
Or at least letting him know, that he would instead be training with the rival for that fight in Manny Pacquiao.
So it's the exact opposite. I mean, it's the exact thing he accused Devin of. And obviously, Bill showing me another quote from ESPN where George Kambosos says, I don't owe Jeff Horn anything. So, it was funny. Again, the thing is that this wasn't mentioned on the press conference, on that stage, when all the eyeballs are looking and say, hey, you're being a hypocrite. You just trained with Pacquiao against Jeff Horn. But what did you feel of all of that, knowing that he had done this so many years before? Because he's been Pacquiao's sparring partner for some time now. That was before, even after the Horn fight, he continued to work with Pacquiao.
Well, that's one reason that we say this is world championship boxing. You know what I mean? The experience that he's experienced with Manny Pacquiao, and the experience that Devin could provide George Kambosos to defeat Teofimo Lopez just as boxers talking, because they want to make an event happen. It's no different than George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez, what Bob described as colluding to talk to Triller and Peter Kahn to make their fight happen, right? Mm-hmm. So while Devin and George talked, George came back and said that he was a rat. And what the fuck does that have to do with them talking? If George Kambosos is Ferocious Promotions, right, and he's the guy that he says that he is, and Devin is the guy that he is, them having a conversation about what George Kambosos can do to exploit Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez and Devin aren't friends. And Teofimo Lopez represents the fine people of the Honduran community, and he also represents Las Vegas and the American community. This is world championship boxing. Absolutely. This thing represents the world. And we're not going to shift it because George Kambosos wants to shift it and make it Australia versus America or any of that other kind of shit, or that we got to bring the belts home. What if we, and I asked Devin, I said, well, how does it look out there? And would you want to buy a place there? You know, it might be good to buy. You know, you get some money, and you got to come back because George, you can't get out of this shit. Now you talked all this shit, just like Rolly. You talked all this shit. You want, and your team. You said you didn't want it once, but you wanted it twice, and you thought that was going to scare us. You thought that you was going to be able to scare us with the fact that I'm not being there. Devin jumped on that jet and said, "Where's the hotel at? Where's the gym at?"
So have you been able to communicate via FaceTime?
Oh, absolutely. You know that, Ness.
So you've been able to physically see him?
Yes.
Does the gym in Ellis have internet as well? Is it easy to connect?
Yes. I watch him sparring.
Yeah, we saw you. Who was that? Was that Little holding the phone while you was watching? Watching?
Yeah, exactly. No. And that's
so how is that? Are you like? Do you and Yoel check in with each other in the morning and then at night, or is it just once a day? Like, how are you communicating whatever you need to communicate?
Well, Yoel is my senior. Yoel is like he's like a father figure to me and a grandfather figure to Devin. You see what I mean? So Yoel I can look at Yoel, I can ask him one or two things, and he'll say one or two words back to me to let me know where we're at, just because we have that kind of chemistry. I've been watching Yoel and Zab since Devin was a kid. You know what I'm saying? You have a picture of Devin walking out with, did you see that picture of Devin
holding the belt, holding Zab's belt, yeah.
Holding Zab's belt. That's how long we've been watching Zab and watching Yoel. And vice versa. That's how long Yoel and Zab have been watching me and Dev. So it just was a perfect fit for him to come in.
If you had the power and authority to choose the right man to be there with Devin on Saturday, Sunday, would it still be Joel? Outside of yourself, you know, if you had the power to wave a wand and put whoever in the corner, would you still put Ben Davis in there, or are you comfortable with Yoel?
I am extremely comfortable with Abba, and the reason why I know that no matter if it's 100,000 in the stadium, he's not going to shy away from the moment and catch a brain fart. You know what I mean? He's been doing this at the highest levels. He's been involved in big events. You know what I mean?
Zab and Tim Tszyu.
And Tim Tszyu.
Or Costa Tszyu. I'm sorry, Costa Tszyu. I'm sorry. Yeah,
the father.
Yeah, the father, not the son. Yeah,
Right. So when you talk about experience, well, me and Devin have chemistry, right? And we've got, but absent of me, what would you bring in then? You bring in experience.
Absolutely.
You bring in experience for that moment, and not being afraid of that moment. He got that Brooklyn, that Bed-Stuy, do or die. You know what I'm saying? Ride attitude. You've seen moments where he's clicked in from being a coach to actually being a protector. In the famous incident where, the Mayweather and Judah fight.
Absolutely.
He clicked in from being a coach and a father to a protector. So it's somebody that I would absolutely go to war with, and somebody that, I'm happy with the decision that we made as a team, because ultimately it comes down to Devin. You know what I mean? We put the players and the people around, and then Devin actually makes a decision on who we going with.
So we've been speculating here, but you've kind of made it sound in this conversation and others that the money is worth the rematch. But there's a lot of speculation that if Devin wins, he might move up or just vacate the belt altogether, not necessarily go back to Australia. How willing are you to go back to Australia? Do you need to see what happens Saturday, Sunday before you can make that decision? Or do you guys, regardless, as long as you get the win, plan to uphold the contract? Because again, Devin can all of a sudden just say, you know what?
I can't make 35.
I've been here all my life. I'm going to 40. I'm undisputed. Nothing else to, Mayweather retired and didn't rematch Oscar De La Hoya. It's not common to not do the rematch or find a way out of the rematch. Andy Ruiz was trying to go to court to get out of his rematch with AJ and ended up negotiating more money to take the rematch in Saudi.
Well, the only thing that wasn't in the agreement was that me not being there. You know what I'm saying? We had an agreement that his team, my team, you know what I mean, our team, would be at the fight, you know.
And would be vaccinated because you guys had a, there was a lot. There was a lot. There was the vaccinations. You know, let's throw that out there. You know, let's not forget. Let's not forget. So that was part of it. But yeah, you can't even be.
Yeah. So we signed up to go there twice. You know, I was looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Devin, like I said, I can express Devin's energy of what he's having right now, the time that he's having, how the Australians have embraced him, how we look forward to maybe, investing in Australia in some way, shape, or form. And, It's
funny you said that because Danny recommended when this first was announced, he's like, they might as well buy a house out there. I know things probably changed now that you can't be there. But
I said buy at least, just because it's like, damn, like fuck, I gotta come back in a couple months.
But it's Australia have some of the best volleyers in tennis.
So it makes sense.
And it just like I said, being a world champion is conquering the world. You know what I mean, and experiencing the world. We have a first time experience of now going to Australia. We absolutely love Mexico. We love going to Mexico. Devin started in Mexico. Mexico is dear to our hearts in terms of how Mexico embraces, because Devin was 16, when he turned pro. He was 17 when he had his first fight. But nowhere in California, they wouldn't let him fight. Las Vegas, they wouldn't let him fight. We had to petition for him to fight.
On that Manny Pacquiao Bradley undercard.
Right.
And he was the youngest fighter ever in the state of Nevada.
Yeah, to fight.
Professionally.
Youngest guy to ever fight at the MGM. But that was only because we had went to Mexico and he had the experience as a professional. So Mexico and Tijuana and all that's near and dear to us. You know what I mean? And now Australia. This is another place that we're now looking to leave with the respect and hopefully, some Australian fans.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's the main goal.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems like he's gained some fans, maybe sheerly just because they dislike George. Like I said, we had an Australian fighter here. He's going back.
Today, he was here this morning.
Yeah, and he'll be going back and being live at the fight and rooting for Devin. He fought a fighter that was signed to George.
It's signed to George,
and he's actually on the undercard of the Devin fight.
But he beat him.
But this guy beat him. Victor Nagbe beat him. He's trained by Coach Dewey Cooper.
Yeah, he's with Dewey Cooper.
Well, shout out to Fred, not Fred Hawthorne, but Fred, the publicist for George.
Oh yeah, Sternberg.
Who's, if George is attempting to be the villain or the bad guy, he's doing a great job, George. Keep it up. You're doing a great job. If that's his goal or his angle.
Well, right? I don't know if it's necessarily his goal, but I think it works. It's like that Mayweather effect. Like they pay to watch you win or lose.
Yeah.
But the thing with Mayweather, it worked because he kept winning.
No, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like every win he got, it's like, damn, I want to see him lose more. So it's like you get a big win, become champion. I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't remember which one of the Maloney brothers said it because we had both of them back to back. But one of them said a lot of the Australian people don't support or like George because of the way he carries himself, very arrogant,
he's
a little too cocky, bigger than life.
I like it though. I like the whole emperor shit and I manifested it. I mean, you have to. Deontay Wilder put that in us. Speak it, believe it, receive it. If you don't speak it into the universe, how's it going to come true?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, it's not total bullshit. Some things that George is doing, is great. His team and what they do and their preparation and what George says as a man, as a father, what he says as a promoter, right? That's on them, right? I don't agree with everything that George is saying. Right, I vehemently agree to a certain extent with a lot of things that he's saying, But one thing that I'm here to tell you is none of that shit is going to help him on June 4th when they get under them lights. It's all just it's a waste of time and a waste of energy when you talk about with Devin. Devin has been in there with the who's who of Whoville. Period. And you don't see no line around the corner of people saying what they done did to him or saying what's going to happen to him. Matter of fact, I'm in Vegas right now, and I think Devin is still the favorite.
Yeah, he is.
He is
favorite.
minus 180.
Yeah. So that'll tell you right there. You see what I mean? George, if he had everybody and everybody felt the same way that you was feeling, then that's where the bets would be.
The odds would have moved. And honestly, BH, I swear to God, I've been waiting because I'm like, yo,
Can't make no money on minus money.
He got not one, but two. He said he got the Greek and the Australian people. I'm like, bro, so much money gonna come in on George. They gonna bring Devin down a little bit, and that's when I'm gonna come in. That shit ain't moved at all.
I don't think it ever makes Devin a plus, though.
Not a plus, but I'll take minus 150 versus minus 180. What the fuck?
It's $30, but I hear you.
It's $30, but when you put in a couple dollars down, those 30, that make a difference. That make a difference, but the odds ain't moved.
So if you put 100, and
you got to put 180,000 just to make 100,000.
No, but what you were saying, so right now
100,000, right?
Yeah, you got to pay that. You got to put down 180 to make 100 plus your 180 back.
And right now that's just for Devin to win in any form.
Yeah, any form. But that's the safest form. I wouldn't like. Even if I'm the dad, I'm not betting on a specific decision. Just let my son get the job done.
For sure.
Like, why would I bet the knockout? Not me. I'm
right.
not, I don't want that pressure on him. Like, yo, I bet 180 on you. Nah, just get the win. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's all that matters.
I got a couple of questions from the people. David Maldonado, the biggest Teofimo fan in the world in New York City, says, "What's up, champ? Why would you cheer for George Kambosos over Teofimo when you and Teofimo had a verbal agreement to fight? Had he gotten by Kambosos and I forget the and because there's only one question.
Well, no, but George Kambosos and Devin had agreed to the fight in the DMs. We had no agreement with Teo at all. Matter of fact, they were saying something about talk to Bob. So
that's what they were saying in Fresno?
That's what
they started with 4 million. Then when Eddie talked to him, they asked for 10 as well.
10 million. Yeah, well, that whole thing with Teo, that was.
You just didn't feel it was real?
No. Well, it didn't seem as real as George Kambosos, right? Because George Kambosos wasn't Teo like he is now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't.
He was
George
humbler.
Kambosos. Yeah, right. I'm saying, wasn't it different, George, to you?
No,
he wasn't the emperor just yet.
So yeah.
He must have got that 2022.
Now, after he beat Teo, he became the emperor.
Okay, so before the emperor, right? The emperor reached out to Dev, and then while they were talking, he says, and he says that this guy Teofimo is never going to fight you, right? We had no relationship with George. I would go on different shows. Teofimo Sr. would go on different shows, and we'd talk about the fight. Devin and him would talk, and they've been talking about the fight ever since the WBC tournament, and it never happened, right? Then George Kambosos comes, and then George Kambosos says, what we thought was sincere, what we believed. He said, Teofimo Lopez will never fight you. And when I embarrass him and when I beat this clown and all that stuff, he said, I'm going to fight you. You just got to bring that WBC belt, right? Which meant Devin just got to keep winning. Mm-hmm. He's going to win, and they're going to make it happen. That's what became so shocking to us is that he said he was going to go on tour to pick somebody. Now, if you're a world champion, why should you have to go on tour? You should accept all the challengers.
But
to be fair, you just won your big fight. You want to fill out some offers.
Well, not according to him. What he said was that you could fill out that, but the emperor says that he wants only big fights. Mm-hmm. He wants only big fights, right? Well, Devin fit the profile of that fight
right
from the beginning, right? And we didn't say that it was something bad about Teofimo's style or Teofimo couldn't fight. We didn't say anything was bad about George. We didn't say anything was bad about any of the lightweights. We only said was that we've done our part, that we fit the profile to make a good dance partner. Mm-hmm. And we've been very consistent about that. And to 15 years to get there, to get where we are, words can't describe it. Words, you can't talk us out of it. We've already put the work in. You can't say that we're not the perfect dance partner because he DM'd you. What the fuck does the DM have to do with, you guys are actually fighting now. You guys are 1 week away from fighting. What the fuck are you talking about the DMs for? What the fuck do that got to do with actually why the people should come out and see the Super Bowl of the lightweight division?
Come on, BH. You know the reason why?
Why?
Smoke and mirrors. Come on now.
Hey, listen. I mean, he got so many mirrors that he's smoking. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, it's mirror after mirror after mirror. I want to tell the people that you have two super talented individuals that have overcome surmountable odds to make this thing happen. And I don't care if you were a LA Rams fan or a Cincinnati Bengals fan or not. This is the Super Bowl of the lightweight division. It's a true Cinderella story of no other than Lou DiBella making a resurgence back to the top with a big event. You got Top Rank, who's historically been, they're the Hall of Fame of promotion in partnership with ESPN. And you have two great families, the George Kambosos, Jim and George Kambosos team, and the Bill Haney and Devin team, right? You have guys that have come together to make this event happen. So Kambosos versus Devin Haney, June 4th in the United States on ESPN, June 5th on Australian pay-per-view, will be the biggest fight of the year.
We can't wait, BH.
I got Rue in the 504. He says, if you guys said you would take less than Loma and you said you would travel to Australia, why make a stink over the concessions you had to make?
Well, we never got a chance to see the concessions. We never got a chance to see what the stink is because you never get a chance to see the contract that Lomachenko had, that he signed. If there's someone, and I know the attorneys on both sides and both sides and in between, right? If they could provide for me something that Lomachenko signed to, right, I wouldn't have a problem with it. What I had a problem from an executive standpoint is bringing a deal back to Devin that I couldn't have any proof to what we were signing.
Right.
What Devin told me to do was, as being the boss of the company, Devin Haney Promotions, he said, do everything to make that fight. I said, whatever. I said, whatever. He says, whatever, Pop. Now, good. Listen, so he knows me well. So hang up the phone, wait a little cool down moment, call him back up. And I said, so you were saying, he said, Dad, do whatever it is to make the fight, man. Come on now. Don't call me back with the other shit. Right. Call me back and saying that it's made. That's the only thing that he wanted me to call him back and say that it was made. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? And it's a gratifying moment when the head of the company is so adamant about something, right? And believes it. It almost makes you then have the confidence that you need to keep working. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
So going into it, you know what I mean? I'm like, maybe this deal might not, you know what I mean? But after talking to him, I knew the deal was the right deal. Mm-hmm. And it was no other deal. And that's what we did.
I got Brandon in Houston that says, has there been any effort made by Top Rank to allow you to be the first virtual cornerman in pay-per-view history? Headphones in the corner for Devin on that Elon Musk internet connection. I think it would be historic.
I do too. And I believe that is something that we as as boxing fans should encourage and look forward to. It's something that's cutting edge. And for me to take a negative and turn it into a positive, I would happily be a part of it. That would be something that I would look forward to outside of if I couldn't be inside the ring with Dazn. Of course, I've extended that to the Kambosos team and told them that, hey, this is a heck of an opportunity for what's his coach's name?
Who? Kambosos coach? Centennial. Javier Centennial.
Yeah, a great opportunity for Javier to also be a part of something that can be historic as this. You know, and I think that I got some resistance, but I want to stay optimistic. I want to think that the Kambosos team won't do anything to make this fight more unfair than it already is. You know, if the playing field can't be level, can it have something that goes necessarily our way that, you know, with helping me help my fighter?
All right, I got Dom in Seattle. He says, shout out to you and your son. Shout out to you and your son. Wish your son can video chat with TBV sometime, champ. Who you think beat Canelo better, GGG or Floyd? But I guess he really meant to say
Bivol.
Yeah.
Bivol.
Oh, he put GGG. He didn't mean to say that. He wants to act like that draw was a loss. So he put, who beat Canelo better, GGG, the TBE Floyd, or the King Bivol?
Floyd, for sure. You know.
I got Chick Chickarelli that says, Bill Haney, best dad, trainer in boxing. We are all proud to see Dazn representing America on the world stage. Doesn't Kambosos remind you of how Teofimo developed a puffed up ego when he got those belts? Seems to be a pattern.
Pattern stopping this weekend, BH?
Yeah, we're in fight week right now, and the main thing is that, you know, when they get in the ring, Kambosos will see that Dazn is different, that he's different. And I've always said that these are good fighters, right? JoJo was a good fighter. Linares and Kambosos is a good fighter. But Dazn is special. And we have an opportunity on June 4th in the United States, June 5th in Australia, to show the world how special he is. And the better the fighter, the more Dazn will rise to the occasion, you know. And I hope that George Kambosos has had a successful, you know, training camp, and that he's on his A game, so it'll bring out the best in Dazn.
Do you think the belts have a seductive nature of with them? Because you know, this Chick Chickarelli's right. When Tio won the belts, his ego changed. George won the belts, his ego changed. You yourself said it. You didn't know where this emperor came from. That's not the guy that was DMing you guys. So probably a question we know the answer to, being as though that's your son, but do you think that the belts can change Dazn?
No. It's something where with both Tio and with George, they did a lot to try to cover up the fact that there was another world champion out there. So that meant for a lot of rhetoric, and you know, of course, fans and content creators, you know, support, you know, their fighters that they favor more. So it was content that was created to, you know, for like Danny said, you know, smoke and mirrors. But once Dazn wins and he has all the belts. No different than Terrence Crawford, no different than Usyk.
Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo at
68.
Canelo at 68. You know, there's no curse. It's only a blessing to be able to have all the belts in your division.
I have Coach Myers from Connecticut. I'm under the impression that Dazn won't be able to defend his undisputed titles in the rematch with Kambosos because of sanctioning bodies. Because sanctioning bodies will start mandating mandatories for Dazn. Your thoughts?
That's a little bit premature. Right now, we're focused on this fight here, and and then we'll get to that. We'll get to all the politics and everything that goes along with it. It's something that their team insisted on, and Lou publicly has, and said that, that's something that he insisted on putting in the contract, in agreement as well. And, after this fight, we'll have to sit down and discuss it, as men.
Alejandro Vega in Florida. Wanted to let you know you're one of my inspirations to be a more involved father in my son's life. I admire how you have invested into your children and their dreams. Thank you for being a constant positive influence for all fathers, sons, and teams.
No, absolutely. That means everything to me from all the real ones. And I say real ones meaning real moms and dads that's doing it. You know what I mean? And I don't care how successful you are, the success that you see in your kids and get a chance to experience means everything in the world. You see how sometimes, the guys that are most powerful with everything, only, their biggest heartache is that they can't have their kids experience the things that they experience. So, keep grinding, man. Just keep grinding. Don't stop. You know what I mean?
I got Mac and Ass Cheese from the Bay right here in Vegas. He says, if you don't make it to the Down Under for the fights, where you going to watch it at? And what's up, Town Biz? I can't wait to see the belts in person. So after Dev wins, bring him and them belts by the studio so I can swing by.
No, absolutely, man. Shout out to that town, man. You know what I mean? The town that birthed me and raised me, man, to have the independent mindset that I have. And, that's what we intend to do, inshallah.
I think my last one, it actually came to my mind earlier and I held back, but watching Alejandro give you, respect and flowers, I want to ask, do you think you will see yourself awarded by the BWAs for manager trainer of the year or decade or something? Because, I think back, I'm not Danny, who I like to call the almanac, but I think back to Shane and Jack Mosley. I know Jack didn't do as well as you've done. Obviously, Shane is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but they didn't win undisputed titles. They didn't go overseas, and he didn't manage the career of Shane the way you've been doing, Devin. He wasn't his own promoter. Danny Garcia and Angel, I love Angel. Angel, man, if I didn't have a relationship, I probably wouldn't be here because they gave me so much time. It blew my channel up early on, but he didn't maneuver Danny as well as you did, again, with Devin. I just can't think of, maybe Floyd's, but again, Floyd wasn't driving Junior's career either. So it's like, do you feel you're one of the best, if not the best, father-son duo, manager-father kind of combination?
Well, I think that the award that I like, that I experience or I feel most is when another father comes up and he talks to me, say, can I talk to you for a second? You know what I mean? Me and my son this, or me and my daughter that, you know what I mean? So to get that kind of respect, amongst the people, that means everything to me. Any other kind of award, I'm not in it for that.
It's funny you said that. I don't know if you know these young kids. They're very young, so it might not made it to your radar yet. They frequent Las Vegas. They're called the Laura Boys. But his father is inspired by you. I don't know if you remember when we went to take the picture. He was like, I'm following after Bill. I'm taking my sons everywhere, to get that work.
And it's crazy.
He drove from freaking Stockton to be here at 6:15 a.m. to put them boys on it. So,
absolutely.
you are inspiring, man.
Absolutely.
You are inspiring people to do. We got our very own JT, Coach JT. He's driving all around the world with his two young boys the way that you did, So you are inspiring, man. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep verbalizing it and saying it from the mountaintops, because there's a lot of people afraid to take control of this. They might give a Keith Conley or some other person who has been in the position, and rightfully so. They have the education, but look, you've been able to do better than anyone that I can remember. Again, Danny's the almanac. I don't know any other father
I think
manager.
I think a lot of that is, in the eyes of most would be subjective and stuff. But at the end of the day, I know
I mean, subjective, but give me some facts. Where the accolades at for the other fathers?
Yeah, but you know, people always gonna come with excuses at the end of the day. BH, you know, you doing your thing, and we gotta give you those flowers because it ain't just Dev. You know, Little's doing his thing, and we see Sean growing up, and it's funny, when I met Sean like 4 years ago, it seemed like he didn't even have his own like personality, and I feel like now he's growing and he's found himself, and you know, you pull up and you may have a tennis bag in the back of the truck, you may have a boxing bag in the back of the truck, may have your grandson with you, or little Bella in the green room while you here, so you're doing your thing, and as a man should, as a real one should, you know, like you said. So hopefully what you've been able to do with Devin inside of the ring is acknowledged, right? Mm-hmm. You know, because I feel trainers like Derrick James, I'm like, damn, man, my man's got and now an undisputed champion and a unified champion, and it feels like he gets overlooked. So for you being able to accomplish what you've accomplished with Devin in a short amount of time, as far as a professional, I know it's been a lifetime. I know that. I know that, and I'll take nothing away from you. But as far as with Devin only being 23, I mean, it's spectacular, truly.
Well, yeah, and the thing that, like I said, as a dad, you know what I mean. You want to know that you made all the right decisions and made all the right choices, and that's why I always, you know, like as Ness said, scream from the mountaintop to the other fathers and mothers who are in a position where maybe a Keith Connolly who does a great job, maybe that works. You know what I mean? Maybe Peter Kahn, maybe that works. You know, Jay Prince. You know, it's some good managers that do a great job. I think David McWaters has a lot of fighters as well. You know, and then it's some other fathers and mothers that might not need as much help, hands on. I think Keyshawn Businessman Davis, him and his mom,
they doing their thing. They was able to be on 3 different promoters: Eddie, Top Rank, and PBC before they finally signed.
No. Just Top Rank and Matchroom, yeah. But I mean, still big stages, and you know, like you said, that in that situation is the mom, you know. So
right.
So shout out to her.
Right.
You know?
Shout out to the Davis family and what they're doing, and for the Laurel boys, right? Mm-hmm. One day it'll be the Laurel way, you know what I mean? And not necessarily the way that Bill Haney and Devin Haney did it, but you each parent and son, or son and parent, do it their way, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest joy, to see someone do it their way, right? And have the confidence to know, okay, you know, you don't have to see all the way to the top. You can just see one stair at a time, just one stair at a time. And I think that we took the stairs and not the elevator approach, and was very calculated on our next step. And for us, the next step is George Kambosos on June 4th.
For us as fight fans, though, the next step is actually Tank. He was on Brian Custer's podcast, made it clear. You know, he had some words to say about Devin, but then he said, you know what? When he wins those belts, tell him to fight me. I want to fight you next.
He didn't say when. He stopped himself.
He did.
He said when, and then he's like, if Devin wins. I mean, you know.
Yeah, so I guess he didn't want to shoot Devin any support, because he was about to say, he started his conversation as if he knew Devin would get the win, but then he threw the if in there and corrected himself. But the point still remains. He said, if you win those belts, you know, I'm not with any promoter. You can fight me next. Now, that has changed, because then Saturday came out and he said, I'm still with Mayweather Promotions. But what do you think? Is that just tongue-in-cheek? Is he just selling a fight, a potential fight? Or do you believe Tank really, truly wants to fight Devin next, whether that means next after the Kambosos fight or next after the 2 Kambosos fights?
Well, being the self-described draw in boxing, being the fighter that can sell out an arena, right? For him to say he'll fight Devin next, right, is only the position that we look to be in. We've worked. We know it takes 2 to tango. You know, you can't be yourself and be the opponent,
right?
Too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Tank Davis is going to have to stand on it, because when Leonard was asked, what do you have next for Tank? They didn't have an answer. because it's not something quick that you can just put anybody in front of Devin Haney after you've already said that you would fight him. But first and foremost is George Kambosos for us. He handled his business on Saturday, and did a great job doing that with Rolly Romero after a few difficult rounds to figure him out, right? I think that he was patient with him, so much patient, but he showed him respect. He showed Rolly the respect in the first few rounds, and then saw that Rolly wasn't defensive responsible as we know him to be, right?
Bill, you being the trainer, is it fair for fight fans to say that he was on his bicycle or even that he was running? Or is that part of the game plan? Was Tank doing what he needed to do to get the win? Because I feel like we're not giving Rolly credit. I feel like Rolly's the one made Tank change his normal game plan to get on the back foot and be this counterpuncher. Normally he's the aggressor, but Rolly came out as that.
Oh, well, Tank out his mouth said that Rolly could punch. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with that saying that as Tank being a world champion fighter, a 12-round fighter, he did the right thing, right? Ultimately, he got the stoppage. So, you can't put any kind of shadow of a doubt on his performance. But I just think that Rolly did better than what we thought that Rolly was going to do. Tank did what he was supposed to do, and Rolly did better than what we thought that he would do.
So Nico Dinero just asked the same question. Asked Bill if he heard what Tank said about if Devin wins. We just went through that. Someone that wants to meet you, and I hope they get the opportunity to. Again, you're inspiring Kenichi Bear, who is a 15-year-old kid who decided during the pandemic.
His father told him during the pandemic
to start a business.
And now they have a line right here, actually, in front of you of headphones. Wow. But he's also an amateur boxer.
Yes, he's 15 years old. He started his own gaming headset.
Right.
And he sends a $10 super chat. Says, "Welcome to the show, Mr. Haney. My dad and I love what you guys are doing as a father-son team and hope to meet you and maybe work with you in the future." Panda emoji.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to everything that you're doing. And I mean, you're working hard because you're already developing a brand and starting your career. So, you know what I mean? Touche to you and your dad of what you guys have been doing, man. Keep working.
Absolutely, man. Definitely, I like that, because I haven't seen in all my years in boxing, I haven't seen someone of that age already have their own business while trying to be a boxer. So shout out.
That means everything, man. Seeing guys and then seeing them take it further because, we, everyone was telling us that we couldn't do it, that we were going to have to partner up with someone that we'd have to, we'd have to take the traditional road, and we took an unconventional, non-conventional approach to it, and now you see guys just like the young brother coming with the headphones and starting his career and shit. That just makes me smile, man.
Yeah, I got Noah GX. Devin is in trouble. The fix is in.
Where so I can where's the fix in? Let me know. So let me see if I can fix it.
Let BH know.
We got Wakandan Tax Collector. He says, my boy Miko and the BGA got Kambosos all day, day. Who the hell is the BGA?
Man, who the fuck he is, man?
Yo, you so biased,
man,
yo.
I don't give a fuck, man. Dev gonna do what the fuck we gonna do after the show, Nelson. He finna light that shit up and he gonna smoke it. He gonna smoke it, man. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Well,
I think Kambosos has a decent skill level, but when you talk about Devin and his skill set and what he brings to the table, I mean, the feet, the length, the jab,
the experience.
Bill, I wanna be a lambong is what we call it in Dominican slang, and give you more credit here because you had you were brave enough to mention the name Maxie Hughes many months ago, right? And some people received you with laughter. You know, I definitely didn't mind the fight. I wanted that coveted IBO. Shout out to my man Ed Levine, you know.
Shout out Ed.
But I don't know if you heard that Maxie just turned down an offer from superstar Ryan Garcia. It was not enough money, but he received an offer. Someone that you wanted to fight and weren't met, or rather you were thinking of as a possible opponent, but when you brought it up, you weren't met with the same, I guess, gratitude as Ryan is being received. Like, they were okay with him fighting Maxie Hughes. Now Maxie turned down that offer, so it's been public that Javier, someone else you were supposed to fight, and by you I mean your son Devin, has now accepted the fight with Ryan.
Javier Fortuna.
Okay.
So Javier Fortuna will now fight Ryan Garcia July 16th.
Who we last saw lose to JoJo about a... Well, when that fight takes place, it'll have been a year.
But again, the reason I said I wanted to give you more credit is because I want whoever listens to hopefully be with the BWA so that you do get your credit, because you also brought up To Go many months ago and were laughed at. But the people you're bringing up now, it seems like the alleged superstars in boxing are using your matchmaking skills. How do you feel about that? Like, you brought up To Go, you brought up Maxie Hughes, and you had wanted and chased down Javier Fortuna. And now here we are talking about the same three men with someone who the world likes to allege is a bigger star in boxing, Ryan Garcia.
Well, I'm happy to be in the Devin Haney business. I'm happy that Devin has the style that can fight against anyone. You know what I mean? And for us, a lot of these guys, they'll never let us fight them. You know what I'm saying? The Lee Selbys of the world, then we couldn't get Lee Selby. We couldn't get him when before George Kambosos, right? We couldn't get George Kambosos before George Kambosos. So, the promoters know us, the managers know us, and one thing they know about us is if you start talking about fighting us, you know what I mean, we're going to pull up, So when we get through handling our business with George Kambosos for whether it's a fight, 2 fights, 3 fights, when we're finished with George Kambosos, we're going to entertain everybody that's had something to say.
Last one, and we're out. Casual Bass Guy says, I hope we get a banging fight. George just drumming up excitement for this fight, and it's working. Dev will probably box George's head off box George's head all the way off. So that is the last one from the people. Bill, if you want to give out any social media, anything you want to direct the people to, now is the time. And we just want to thank you again for coming out and, talking some boxing with us here.
Well, since I didn't get my intro,
play the intro.
Well, I actually played your intro as Devin's intro for the show because the show is about Devin.
Okay, well, can I get it?
For sure.
Before we leave.
I know,
Brandon. As we leave, we'll play that.
Yeah.
We'll play that.
But he wants to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me hear it, and then I can
see it
plug
on MGM Grand. Only one will stand. And Bill Haney, William E. Haney, come with that fight plan.
They didn't think niggas out of Oakland was gonna push up on their ass. You dig?
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Well, tell the truth and shame the devil that Devin is a bad motherfucker.
WBC, the lightweight champion of the world.
Now come get the real belts, not this ain't franchise shit.
That boy is good.
Bill Haney, say his name 3 times, pop up like candy, man.
When you talk about that, you talk about one of the best fighters in boxing.
SDS Promotions.
Shout out Brandon Lands, man. We appreciate you. And that was it. Well, we're going to go ahead and take this picture with Bill. We want to thank everybody that tuned in. We'll be back with another one today at 4 p.m.
Pacific
time.
Untitled.
And,
Tune in.
We'll be back.
June
5th.
This Saturday it goes
June
down.
4th.
We're already scheduled for Saturday's live fight chat. We're going to have Dewey Cooper in the building. And who else is going to be here? There's someone else going to be in studio.
Shit, I'm going to be here, unfortunately.
Oh, my God. Who else?
But make sure to go. We already have the show scheduled for this weekend. So the Super Bowl of the lightweight division.
There we go.
Devin Haney versus George Kambosos.
Let's go.
We out.
Absolutely.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.